Hi and welcome back to week 4 of the crochet long tile blanket. So we're now on our third square. You should have done your first 2 squares. So the first square you had to make 9, the second square you had to make 8, and then we did all the border and the edges, and hopefully you've weaved in all your ends. And we're going to start on this square now. So as with all the other tutorials, you'll need a 4mm hook, a darning needle to sort out all those ends, your scissors, and we're going to start off with the white yarn. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, and you're going to do your magic circle. So magic circle, so yarn over your hand, pinch it with your thumb, back round, under your thumb so it crosses over, 2 tram lines and back under your thumb. So you've got it crossed at the back, 2 tram lines at the front. Put your hook with your hook down under the first yarn, pick up the second and twist up, and then pick up that same yarn again, that same one, and twist. So you've got 2 loops on your hook, and slip stitch one over the other. Find your end, pull it in so it's a little bit easier to work with, and that is your magic circle. Now we're going to chain 4, and this is the equivalent of a treble and a chain 1, and now you're going to work 7 trebles into the circle with a chain 1 in between. So treble is yarn over, this is UK treble, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1. So work all the way around so that you have 8 stitches, including that chain that you started with a chain 1 in between, and then join me there and I'll show you how to fasten off. Okay, so you should now work around, and mine doesn't look like a round at the moment, and you should have 8 posts all the way along. So these here are your posts. So you've got your top of your stitches and these are your posts, so you should have 8 of those. Don't forget to do your last chain 1 at the end of that post. Take the middle, pull it in so you get more of a circle, and we're going to finish off with this yarn. So we just need to slip stitch into the top of our chain. So that was our starting chain, and we have 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one was our chain 1 in between. So you're going into the 3rd one and just slip stitch into that one, and get your scissors. You can now snip that one off and pull up your end, and just pull in that center ring just to make it nice and tight. And we're going to go on to our next color, which for me is the royal blue, and this is quite a quick round. So insert your hook, and we just need to slip stitch, insert your hook into the chain 1 space, any of them, doesn't matter which one, pull through, slip stitch onto that one, go back into that stitch, just pull my end, and work a double crochet, then chain 4, go into the next chain 1 space, work a double crochet, that's a UK double, chain 4. So a double crochet is insert, so next chain 1 space, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 4. So a simple one, this one. So all the way around so that you have 8 double crochets with a chain 4 in between. So again, pause the video, work around, join me at the end, and I'll show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so you should now have worked all the way around with a double crochet, chain 4, double crochet in the chain 1 spaces of the row below. So in your last one, don't forget you're still chaining 4. And you're finishing off by just slip stitching into the bottom of your very first stitch of that round. So slip stitch into there, and you can fasten off this yarn. And as you can see, I've already taken the time to weave in my ends. Okay, so with your next colour, which for me is duck egg, insert your hook into any of the chain 3 spaces from the round below, and just slip stitch your yarn onto your chain 3 space, and then chain 3. Okay, that's going to count as our first stitch on this one only. Then you're going to do a cluster stitch. You're going to do 2 cluster stitches into each of these chain 4 spaces. So do a cluster stitch. This is a UK treble cluster stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook back into that space, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, go back into that space, yarn over, pull through 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, back into that space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, should be left with 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, and that's your first cluster stitch. Trying to get my end. Chain 3, and we're going to do that again in the same space. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and go back in that space, yarn over, pull up, and that's 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 again, leaving 3, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, and you've got 5 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, leaving you with 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4 on there. So that's how you do your cluster stitch, and you're going to move on to the next space. So you're doing a chain 3, and you're going into the next chain 4 space, and you're repeating that again. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops. So you're doing that 3 times. Each time you yarn over, you're pulling through 2 until you have 4 loops left on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 4, chain 3, back in. So that's my first one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 4, give it a little tug just to tighten up, chain 3, move to the next one. So as you're working round, you're doing 2 sets of clusters separated by a chain 3, and each set of cluster is separated by a chain 3. Work all the way around till you get to your end. Join me there and I'll show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so you should now have worked all the way around in your cluster stitches, and you should be on the last bit. So don't forget to do your chain 3 before you slip stitch into the top of your first chain to finish off this row. Okay, I'm just going to snip off my yarn here, pull my yarn up, and I will go back and sew in my ends. At one point I've only got a couple left, so we're now going to move on to the next row, and the next row is using the mustard, and we're just going to be working into each of these chain 3 spaces all around. So if you want to go ahead and get your mustard, and I am going to show you a different way of joining your yarn. So I've said all along join with a slip stitch, but there are different ways to join yarn, and this is another one. So if you create a slip knot as you would normally do, take off your hook, place your hook in the chain 3 space that we created, any one, put your slip knot back on your hook, just tighten that one up, just going to hold the end, I'm going to pull it through and chain 1. So if you find that easier, then carry on working, joining your yarn in that way. So we're going to chain another one, which gives us our height for the next stitch, and we're going to work a half UK half treble into this stitch. So to do a half treble, you yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 1 in there, and we're going to do another one. So we're going to do 3 in each one. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, chain 1, move to the next chain 3 space and do 3 UK half trebles into that one, chain 1, move on to the next chain 3 space, 3 UK half trebles into that one, chain 1. So you're going to work all the way around, working 3 UK half trebles with a chain 1 in between in each one of the chain 3 spaces, and meet me back at the end and I'll show you how to fasten off. Okay, so you should now have worked all the way around in your UK half trebles and 3 in each of the chain 3 spaces. So I've just worked my last half treble. I'm going to chain 1 And I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch that we did, and that finishes off that round. And you can snip off that yarn, pull up and weave in those ends. So our next round, we're going to start making our circle into a square, and we're going working with the Aster, and we're going to be working corners and sides on these. So if you want to get your Aster, and as I said before, you can do either join. So I'll just do this one again for you so you can see. I think sometimes this one feels a little bit easier. So I've made my slip knot. I'm going to join in any of the chain 1 spaces that we did in the previous round. I'm going to put my slip knot back on my hook, just holding it with my finger while I pull it through. Easier said than done. Chain 1, and then it's joined. So chain another 2 on that one. That's the equivalent of our first treble, and you're going to work another 2 UK trebles into this space. Chain 1, move across to the next chain 1 space from the row below, another 3 UK trebles into that same space. Chain 1, skip across to the next one, 3 UK trebles. My yarn's pulling. My third one. Chain 1, and that's going to bring me to my first corner. So you're doing 3 sets, and then we're on our first corner, and in our corner we're going to work 3 double trebles, chain 3, and then 3 double trebles. So to do your double trebles, you yarn around twice. This is UK double trebles. Insert your hook into the next space, yarn over, pull through 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Wrap your yarn around twice again, back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, back again for our last one of our UK trebles in this half of the corner, UK double trebles, sorry, chain 3, and back into the same space and do another 3 UK double trebles. That's 1. Yarning over twice, remember, for these. 2. 3. Chain 1, and that's our first corner. If I lay that flat now, you can see we've coming up the side. This is our corner. We're going to work along our top of our square that we're now creating, and we're going to do 3 UK trebles into the next stitch, into the next chain 3 space, or chain 1 space I think it was. Chain 1, skip to the next space, another 3 trebles into that one, chain 1, and we're going to go 1 more to create our side. So 1 more set of 3 UK trebles, chain 1, and that brings us back to our next corner, which is going to be in this space here. So UK double treble, yarn over twice, and we're doing 3 of those. Yarn over twice is my third one. That's my half of my corner done. Chain 3 to actually make the corner. Yarn over twice again and back in that same space to finish that corner. Yeah, that's our corner done there. Chain 1. And we're going to jump to the next one, and in the next one we're doing 3 trebles, 3 trebles, 3 trebles, another corner. So carry on around. As you can see, it's starting to square it off now. Carry all the way around, and then join me when we get to the end, which should in your last chain 1 space be another corner. So go on all the way around and meet me back there, and I'll show you how to move on to our next. Okay, so you should now have worked all the way around, and on each side you should have 3 sets of trebles, and in each corner you should have 2 sets of double trebles in each corner to make your square. And you should be on your last one, which should have been a corner. Don't forget to do your chain 1 on your last stitch. And then you find in the chain from the first one, and you just slip stitching into the top of that one to finish this round. And at this point you can now fasten off this colour yarn, because we finished with this one. Oops. There we go, pull that one up, and we're going to start work on our final round, which is our border round. Now it's exactly the same as every other border round that we've done. You've got your 2 trebles, chain 3, 2 trebles in each corner, and then in each stitch and in each chain space along you've got your UK treble stitches. So in total between each corner you should have 23 stitches. So it's quite important that you get that, because when you're going to sew them together a bit later on, you need to be able to sew one stitch directly onto the next one. Otherwise what you'll find is that it will pucker if you haven't got enough stitches. So pick any corner, and using your yarn either slip stitch on or do a slip knot to join, whichever way suits you best. So I'm just going to do a quick slip knot on this one. I'm going to pick this corner here. I'm going to insert my hook into the corner, and I am going to pull my yarn through, and I'm using the Cloud blue yarn now, and I'm going to chain 3. That's my first equivalent of a treble. I'm going to do another treble into that one, chain 3 to create my corner, and then 2 more trebles into the same corner space. And that's my first corner completed. Now my first stitch is here, this one here. So I'm going to do UK treble into the top of the stitches we're going now, not into the gaps, right into the top, catching both those V's, and you're working UK trebles all the way along, and even into the chain 1 space that you created. So as I go all the way along, picking up each one of those stitches into the top of those stitches until you get to your next corner. And at your next corner you are working your, let me just show you on this example here, 2 trebles, chain 3, 2 trebles. So carry it on all the way along, making sure that before you move on to your next side that you have your 23 stitches. So when you're counting them, you're counting the 2 that you started with in the corner and the 2 that you're ending in this corner. Okay, so you should have those 23 stitches between the chain 3 spaces on each side. So work all the way around and join me when you get to the end, and we'll finish off this round together. Okay, so you should now have worked all the way around to the edge of your square, and as I said before, between your chain 3 spaces you should have 23 stitches. So make sure you have your 23 on each side before you fasten off. And this is our last row, so you're just going to, as before, slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, and you can then fasten off that round, and that is the end of that square. So just pull that one through. If I were you now, I would go back and weave in all your ends, and we will move on to the next square in the next tutorial, but you will need 8 of these squares before we move on to the next one. So get cracking on those, and then next week we will be on square 4, and I will show you how to make that one. Thanks for watching.